Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you guys and ladies. I always like to do these videos. They're more therapeutic for me than anything, and I'll get into the reasons why much later on, because I have things going on and I can't really talk about them right now in this form. But you'll understand why I do these videos, more so for me than anything else. But also I like to do these videos for you guys because there's so much going on in this world that is completely, totally, and utterly messed up. And we still, as I did videos before where I stated that cops shooting unarmed black and brown people, it's not accidents. They're not accidents. There's no slip of trigger finger. These are things that are done on purpose, and cops continue to get away with it. Cops are supposed to serve and protect the public. They are not judges, juries, and executioners. But far too often they become judge and executioner, specifically when it comes to people of color. Just recently a gentleman was killed, and the officer stated that she could not differentiate between a taser and her pistol, even though each weapon is on opposite sides of the body. One is the firearm is always located on the dominant hand side. The taser, or supposedly less than lethal or non-lethal weapon, is usually located on the non-dominant side. And she says she made a mistake and mistakenly pulled her pistol instead of the taser. Now, I have a lot of experience with weapons. As we've known before, and I've said before, I'm prior military. I've served in or with every branch of the military service, and I've fired just about every weapon you can pretty much name and or imagine. And I can always tell the difference between, I can differentiate between a 45 and a 9mm and a 380 and a 22 with my eyes closed just by holding the weapon. Immediately I can pick up a weapon and pretty much tell you by the weight usually what caliber it is. If I fire a weapon, I can definitely tell you pretty much what caliber it is. I'm good enough to know what a handgun feels like versus something other than a handgun. Now, for someone to have served on a police force for 26 years and then be a training officer, to not have enough training to be able to differentiate between a taser and a firearm, shouldn't have that job. Never. If you are a police officer and you are so shook by a routine traffic stop that you have to pull any weapon out other than talking to someone, learn how to communicate with people. You know, the 99% of a cop's job should be communication with everybody, with the public, because they're public servants. Your first instinct should not be to grab a weapon or a taser or a baton or anything, pepper spray, and start abusing the public that pays for you to protect them. I shouldn't pay my hard-earned tax money for you as a police officer to kick my ass or shoot me. That's not what you're getting paid for. You're getting paid to be a public servant. That means you serve the public. But back to the story. So this officer kills a man because she said she made a mistake between her pistol and the taser. One of each is on opposite sides of her body. Once again, I've dealt with weapons for years in my life, and I know the difference between this giant thing here. This is a 45 caliber pistol. Make no bones about it. It's a 45. Those of you who can look and see the size of that barrel, you know that there's something large going to come out of that. This thing is heavy, even without a magazine in it, which adds about a pound of weight to this weapon. I understand that something that weighs a third of this is not a pistol, especially if it's all plastic, because you can tell the difference. The handles are larger on a taser. It's a shorter weapon in most cases, and not only that, there's a giant gaping hole in the end of it with prongs on it, and some have the prongs, and they also have projectiles inside of them. But you cannot mistake a taser for a pistol if it is in your hand, even in a darkened room. If you've trained enough and you have the training, you understand that this will always be a pistol. You can tell. Anyone who has training with weapons can tell the difference between a pistol and a taser. So for an officer with all of her supposed years of training to kill someone and say, oh, holy shit, I shot him. Yeah, no shit. But for her to say that she made a mistake and didn't know the difference between her pistol and a taser is inexcusable. Now we have another young, unarmed black male dead. Yes, she's been fired. Yes, she is now arrested. Don't know how long that's going to last. And yes, there will probably be a trial. She'll probably get manslaughter charges, but most likely, being in Minneapolis or in Minnesota, she'll get a jury of her peers that'll most likely either acquit her or there'll be a hung jury. And if she does get any time, it'll be the minimal amount of time that they can possibly give her. Yes, the chief of police quit, and rightfully so. He probably should have quit, because that's his representative of his department that did this, and it's not the first time that she's done this. There's a problem in our communities, specifically communities of color, where police who don't live in those communities come in and they live elsewhere, and they kill the people not in their communities because it doesn't affect them, because they're trained that we're the bad people. We have brown skin, we're the bad people, period. It's how they train them. That, judged by 12 and carried by 6, because they know if they get judged by 12, there's a high probability, extremely high, that they'll be acquitted and nothing will ever happen to them. There's never any consequences for their horrible actions. Which brings me to qualified immunity once again. And I know I've made a video about this before, and I'll say it again. We need to end qualified immunity for police. There's no reason for someone to be immune from judgment for doing wrong. I'm not immune. I can't get qualified immunity. Why does someone with a badge and a gun get qualified immunity when they murder people? That makes no sense. As a healthcare professional, in certain instances, a lot of us pay for and have, some of us on our license have to have a malpractice insurance, which means if we make a mistake, we do something wrong, we have insurance that covers us so that we can help at least make whole the wrongs that we've done to someone else. Most of us are required to have that type of insurance. Some of us have it because we know that mistakes happen, and we want to make sure that we have some type of protection to fix things if we're found to be wrongdoers, if we've done something wrong to cause harm. Why aren't police required to have the same thing? You're walking around with a gun and you are killing people and have no consequences, but you don't have to have any insurance to protect the people from you, because that's what insurance is for, specifically malpractice insurance, to protect others from the wrongs that you do and things that you do. So instead of having qualified immunity, which they should never have, they should have to carry insurance of some type that when they screw up and murder one of us, because of negligence or spite, or they're racist bastards, they should not have qualified immunity. They should be suffering the same consequences as anyone else would. Because I can assure you, if I accidentally shoot a cop, even if it's a mistake, I'm going to prison. There's no such thing as, oh, hey, we're going to let you go. It was an accident, no harm, no foul. No, if I don't end up shot and killed myself, I'm going to go to prison. There's no qualified immunity for me. So we need to stop giving these people passes. They don't need a pass. They need to be treated just like everyone else. You kill someone, you lose your job, you go to jail just like anyone else would. You get treated like a criminal, because the first instinct of a cop should not be to pull a weapon to maintain control of a situation. Use your big boy or big girl words first. De-escalate things. Stop jumping out of your cars like you're goddamn Rambo. You're not. Your job is to serve and protect the public, which pays your damn salaries. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this may have been a little bit long, and I apologize. I try not to do rants, but this is beyond tiring. There's nothing worse than seeing this every day. It scares me a little, because living in a nice neighborhood like I do, living where I live, there's not a whole lot of people that look like me around. And it shakes me a bit whenever I see a cop anywhere near me, because I don't know which one of these assholes is going to decide that I fit the description and then decide to put a hole in my ass just because they don't really need a reason, because they're godmen with guns and they will effing kill me. And it makes me nervous that there's people like this that are supposedly protecting us out there on the streets. So anyway, sorry about the long ass video rant, but thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you. Be safe out there, not just from COVID, we got that, but people, black people, minorities, be careful, because they are not your friends apparently. And there's no such thing as a good cop when good cops won't say anything about the bad cops. And then any of the good cops that do say anything about the bad cops, they turn them into bad cops and they fire them. So be safe out there, ladies and gentlemen. Take good care of yourselves. And by all means, please be the best heathens that you can be, and have a great evening.